Hey everybody, my name is Sean Newman. I'm the marketing guy here at Dare to Share. I have a whole team that serves alongside me, and we are just thrilled today to bring to you some ideas on what Lead the Cause is and help you understand the long-lasting impact of Lead the Cause. So Lead the Cause is our event over the summer that has 5 locations across the country, and we'll unpack what it is, why it's important for you to consider going. We know it's still 7-8 months out, 9 months, whatever the math is on that bad boy. It starts in June as the first spot in Chicago, but it's important for you to obviously get that on your radar because it's a whole summer event. It's like a mission trip. But on this video, we're going to be talking about, or on this live thing right now, we're going to be talking about 4 ideas that help you lead the cause, your students lead the cause back at their school. So that's going to be the core. We'll keep coming back to these 4 ideas during this live broadcast. So stay tuned. We'll go on to each of these. We're going to start in about 12-13 minutes. Greg Steer is going to be on for a little bit. We have a youth leader who just jumped on staff named Carrie, who will share a video from her on this, as well as some other Lead the Cause kind of fun facts and answer some questions for you potentially. But there's the insider list is Lead the Cause's main thing that you can jump on and get updates on when we have specials and tickets go on sale and all that stuff, as well as see stories and hear videos. But there's also the info kit that's available that's up right now. That's special videos, things that you can show your students. You can see stories of past groups. You can see the flyers, print out a little poster, get all the info that you might need for Lead the Cause to help you make that decision about the summer. But come back, a couple minutes. We're going to come back on, go through the 4 ideas for teens leading the cause of their school. And we're excited. Share what Lead the Cause is all about. Thanks. Hey guys, my name's Sean. I'm the marketing guy at Dare to Share. I'm super excited because we are bringing to you just a little bit of a short live show today about how Lead the Cause can help with long-term impact in your students. So we are going to go over the 4 Everyday Ideas ebook, and this one is for students to lead the cause at school. So we'll unpack each one of those ideas, and we'll also have Greg Steer on a little bit, a youth leader who just started on staff with us. Her name's Carrie. Share a little bit of her story. I want to let you know we are actually going to give away $250 worth of our Youth Group to Go curriculum if you share with tag @mention somebody in the comments of this video. They might see it right now, they might see it in 5 minutes or 30 minutes when they're on, but we're going to be live for about an hour, and then afterwards, if they're watching the archive, they'll at least see it. So our whole hope is that we help youth leaders and come alongside youth leaders. So if you know youth leaders, you know church leaders, you know student leaders at those churches, tag @mention those guys so they can see this video, talk about Lead the Cause, see if it might be something they want to explore for the next summer. And at the end of this, the next hour or so, we'll just randomly pick somebody and reach out to you and give you $250 worth of our free Youth Group to Go curriculums. That's 42 lessons. Yes, 42 lessons that are $5 each normally. So those are every week you can use one of those as you're doing your curriculum for your students. So you're just teed up for a whole year of youth ministry curriculum if you want that. Just @mention somebody, and then we'll be back in 3 or 4 minutes and we'll start this in all of its glory. Thanks.
Something's gonna bring the change, journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away.
Hey guys, my name is Sean. I'm the marketing guy at Dare to Share. I'm excited today. We're going to do the next hour or so a live show to go over not energy drinks, but ways that your students can excel in long-term growth using Lead the Cause as the culprit, or as the catalyst, not the culprit, catalyst to do that. So Lead the Cause is what we're going to camp on for this next hour or so. We're going to go over the 4 Everyday Ideas ebook that's for students to lead the cause at their school. We'll unpack that in a little bit. And one of those is the energy drink concept. That's number 2 on the list. So that's why we have some energy drinks here. Kind of fun. So Greg Steer will also be here in 5-10 minutes or so, talking about Lead the Cause and his perspective, maybe 15 minutes or so. And but let me dive in. Let me talk about Lead the Cause for a second so you understand what it is. First of all, we have an event in the summer that's kind of like an intense summer camp experience for students called Lead the Cause. So it's all about helping your students come together as a group, take their faith seriously, own it seriously, learn what it means to share their faith with their friends, and also part of the week they go out and they actually share their faith with strangers. So they go over this. So there's in 5 cities this next summer: Chicago, Denver, Washington, D.C., Austin, and Orange County, in somewhat of that order. I know Chicago's first and Orange County is not last. Austin is last. Is that right? Did I get that right? I got it right back here. Chicago, Austin, Denver, Orange County, Washington, D.C. So June is when it all starts in Chicago. Goes through August 3rd in Washington, D.C. I should just use my props that are available. How about that one? So Lead the Cause is an event in all those 5 of those cities that you would maybe do instead of a summer camp. Or maybe you do it with your top echelon students, or maybe you take, your 15 students and you really want to ignite them on how to reach their campus or their soccer team or whatever when they get back home. It's about multiplication, really, helping them to understand what it means to share their faith. So one of the core things that we go through at Lead the Cause is the cause circle. You might see it on the screen right now. It has 3 components: prayer, care, and share. The prayer portion of that is for students to understand. So we roll out this cause circle and we tell them, hey, this is a tool that you can use to continually remind yourself and think through how you're reaching your friends for Jesus. So youth ministries, every week, they'll even talk about this. Who's in your cause circle? They'll do this thing called Take 5 for the Cause, where they'll talk as students, who are you praying for with prayer, care, share? Who are you praying for? Who has God put on your heart that He wants you to reach, He wants you to love? Who are you praying for? Who are you caring for? Who are you actively doing things and showing love in an active way towards? How are you caring for? And then if God opens the door and praying through, God, please open this door, is who are you sharing with? Actually, with words, out loud with words, sharing your faith with your friends. So prayer, care, share. I've seen adults use this as well. I use this personally. I have people in my life that I care about deeply and I want to reach. So I use this personally. We talk about it as staff. So this tool is called the Cause Circle. That's kind of the anchor of what we do with Lead the Cause. There's a day that's about prayer. There's a day that's about care. There's a day that's about share. And so we will dive further into that. Greg is going to be here shortly. He'll talk about that a little bit. First, though, I want to make sure that we're giving away $250 worth of our Youth Group To Go curriculum today if you mention somebody on this on the comments of this video right now. I want to mention them so they can see it. You can share it with them. Maybe make a comment to them. Hey, check this out. Something you might want to consider for next year. If you do that, you mention somebody, we will enter your name in. And at the end of this hour, if you're not even on here for the full hour, you're on here for the first 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or you come on halfway through, mention somebody, and we will pull a name randomly out of the hat and contact you and give you $250 worth of this Youth Group Go curriculum. That's actually 42 lessons that we have, curriculums that you can use one of those lessons every week. So it's really a year's worth of curriculum. It's 52, not 42, 52. 52 lessons. That's like every week except for Christmas and Easter and whatever holiday you don't want to do it. But there you go. Anyway, what is Lead the Cause? I covered that briefly. And right now, why don't you take a look at the recap of what happened last year at Lead the Cause.
Every single one of our students has been sharing the gospel, at least with somebody, or at least trying to. So it's like 100% success rate with students grasping how to share the gospel and then having the desire and the motivation to do it.
It's not that he's not capable or able or powerful, or not that even that he doesn't want to, it's that he's given us the opportunity to join with him to amplify his love, his glory, his mission, and his cause.
After LTC last year, it kind of put a perspective in my whole soul to just see people who weren't gonna be with me in eternity, and just that broke my heart, so I really wanted to share to anybody I could.
God works through it and does things in the lives of our students that I've never seen at any other camp that I've ever attended.
Am I embarrassed? No. Because suddenly I feel like a superhero. Religion man. Aha. Faster than a speeding Baptist. Able to leap tall charismatics in a single bound. It's the Pope. It's Zane Black. No, it's me. Religion man. And I made my way over.
It's the gospel. That's what changes people's lives radically. And we have to turn that up. We have to be louder. We have to take a stand. Listen, we have to lead the cause.
I want 365 gospel conversations in the next year, one a day. So I'm excited.
Hey guys, I'm Maddie Lewis. I'm on the marketing team as the content coordinator. That video that we just saw, the LTC recap, is awesome. It's so encouraging and fun to just see what God did. And so you saw some of the stats in the beginning of that video, but I just want to go over the numbers again for what God did in 2018. So there were 1,183 people who attended LTC across all 5 cities. So that's students and youth leaders combined, but that is a lot of people being equipped to build a gospel advancing ministry and to become the lights in their schools and in their communities to share the gospel. There were 6,272 gospel conversations that were at least recorded during LTC over the whole summer. That is so many people who are hearing the gospel for the first time, maybe. And so we're just so thankful that God used all of these people who went to LTC to have those gospel conversations, and hopefully some of those people are still thinking about, the message that they heard during the summer. There were 196 students who committed their lives to global mission. So that's something at LTC that students are called to if they really feel like God is calling them to dedicate their lives to global missions and to spreading the gospel outside of the U.S. and, wherever God calls them. So there were 196 students who felt that call on their lives, and that is something incredibly special, and that is going to have a really long-lasting impact long after LTC. And then lastly, there were 70 decisions made for Christ that we know of. So out of all of those gospel conversations that happened, we know that 70 people came to know Jesus for the first time. And if anything else came out of LTC other than that, it's just a bonus, because that is what it's all about, is spreading the gospel and equipping teens to keep doing that over and over. So now we're going to have Dare to Share founder Greg Steer come up, and you took your costume off. Darn it. Oh,
I was wearing a red choir robe for no apparent reason. So, trying to throw Maddie off.
Anyways, I would have to have you sing a song, probably.
I will not sing a song. I will not.
But you could dance.
I can dance if I want to.
Yes.
But I don't. So.
Man. Okay, anyways, back to LTC. Wow. That was good.
I tore my ACL dancing to a Michael Jackson video. That's actually true and sad.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to share that with you right now. It's not in the script.
Just vulnerability.
But I just want to open up right now.
Thank you.
Trust us with your teens.
All right, anyways. So, zeroing in on LTC again. So, just a couple questions about the motivation behind why LTC was developed and what you think the impact is from teens spending a week just being intensively trained on the gospel.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because there's a big difference between a day event or a 2-day event and a week-long immersion. And when I was 11 years old, not quite in middle school yet, the middle school was going from Denver, Colorado to Hollywood, Florida, which is basically Miami, for this week-long intensive. And I begged my youth leader, please let me go, please let me go. And I was persistent. And finally he agreed. And so we took a school bus, non-air conditioned school bus, from Denver to basically Miami, Florida, and back. And that week-long training with a couple thousand teenagers was basically, it was motivation and it was equipping, and it was right on the beach. It was the old Hollywood Hotel, which Florida Bible College had purchased, and there's a boardwalk. So for evangelism, we went out and everybody had access to the boardwalk, and we would just share Christ with people. So you'd learn in the morning and you'd go put it into practice that afternoon, and then go swim in the ocean, which is awesome. But I think God planted something in my soul then. Not only did he transform me spiritually, but gave me a vision there's something about a week immersion in this. And so at Dare to Share with Lead the Cause, it's not just an immersion into evangelism. We have a prayer day, so it's an immersion into intercessory prayer. We train teenagers how to pray, and we spend the whole afternoon doing that at different places depending on the city. In Denver, it's at Columbine High School, at the memorial, in the school, around the school. In DC, it's at the memorials. We have, we tie in special meetings to all the memorials and pray. In Austin, it's at the Capitol, and UT in Orange County, different places in different ways to symbolize the power of prayer and immerse kids in it. Then we have a care day. So we train kids, what does it mean to care? So many times teenagers today are just here, this is how they relate with their friends, but we want them to be able to relate this way and to look in people's eyes and have conversations, as well as use their cell phones and show people the love of Christ. So we train them in the morning, and then that afternoon, we actually have a care experience where they're building relationships or feeding the poor, handing out water bottles, working with Dream Center, whatever that is for that city, and sharing Christ. Then a share day, where we train them, equip them to share the gospel. We do that actually all week, and then that afternoon it's all gospel conversations, but based on kind of a relational approach. Not just walking up to random people and say, you need Jesus, but we train them to ask, admire, admit, ask questions, admire what they can about what they believe, admit the reason they're a Christian is because they need Jesus more than anybody. And then we have a Dare Day, and that Dare Day is when they're trained and equipped to make a plan to reach their campus for Christ. Youth leaders are working for their, to reach their community. Students are thinking about reaching their friend group and their campus with the gospel, and they leave with a strategic plan, and it's awesome. It is a week-long immersion, and it is transformative, and it's not just cosmetic. It's really organic transformation that takes place. So I love Dare to Share Live. I love the conferences that we've done. I love them, the curriculum that we do. The most transformative thing that we do, by God's grace, is lead the cause. So I love it.
And we've seen proof of that. We have a ton of testimonies of whole ministries being changed and students just being set on fire for the gospel.
And we train teens how to dance.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do that. I will stop right
What is
now.
that move?
I don't know. It's my go-to move.
Great
It's my go-to
statement.
upper body move, just like that. So I'll stop right now.
I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So you're the one. Way to go. Yeah.
All right. Well, Greg Steer, ladies and gentlemen.
Am I done?
So much. You are done.
I will
Thank
leave.
you.
Carry on, Maddie.
All right. See ya, boss. Actually, this is my real boss, so you can come back up, Sean. Yes.
We're coordinated. I don't have the red robe. That was kind of funny though. Greg was in the back with this red robe on, and I was like, dude, don't go up there with that on. And a cane. And he took it off, so thank you for taking it off for one. That would have been funny, but yeah. Okay, so thanks, Greg. Good stuff.
Giveaway one more time?
Yeah, so just making sure you knew, we're giving away $250 of our Youth Group to Go curriculum just by mentioning somebody in the comments of this. So we want you to be able to tell people that you know that are youth leaders or in youth ministry in some capacity about this so they can watch it and consider lead the cause for next year.
Just so you know, I wasn't exaggerating. Here's the cane,
Real.
and here's the red cape.
Wow.
Carry on, party people.
Wow.
Details in the
So
back.
this is our day-to-day at Dare to Share, but we're a youth ministry, so that's how we roll, right? I mean, you guys would know this. Like, you gotta just be able to wing it sometimes. So thank you, Greg, for keeping us on our toes. Anyway, mention people, and you're entered to win that free curriculum. So it's actually, I said it wrong. I was calculating how many weeks in the year backwards last time. So there's 49 lessons. So almost every week of the year in that pack. So we're giving that away if you mention somebody so they can see this at the end of this. So
Sweet.
that's it. So I'm going to dive now into this ebook. So just making sure you knew, you can go on the insider list for Lead the Cause right now, and you can get this ebook. So it's just by signing up. I think it's all we need is your first name, last name, and email. So it's not a ton. But we're going to be going through this for the next 30, 45 minutes in different capacity. There's 4 ideas in here. And you could just drop in for one and then leave and get the ebook and see the rest later, or you can just track while I'm going through all 4 of them right now. So the first one on this is how to share the gospel when someone invites you to go to a party. So what we want to do in this ebook is we wanted to help you be able to equip students on how to share their faith actively in 4 different ways at their school. How can they lead the cause at their school throughout the year? So there's 4 ideas in here. The first one is really, you're invited to a birthday party. Well, it could be a birthday party. You're invited to any kind of party. And we all know how that could go. Parties could go awesome, and they could go totally not the way that you would coach your students to live a holy life. So how do they handle that if they know that the party is not super holy and awesome? I remember being in high school, actually, and had a friend I was at work who invited me to come to this party. I knew that they weren't Christian, and I was totally sold out on my faith, but I stumbled through because I was like, I probably shouldn't go to this. I didn't end up going, but I basically said, sorry, I have other plans, or I made something up. I don't remember, but it wasn't a way to continue the conversation or help the relationship to continue, because at the end, I care about them, and I really did want to show them the love of Christ, but I didn't know how to respond in that. And quite honestly, the relationship kind of crumbled after that, because they invited me, I didn't know what to say, and instead of segueing into something that might have continued the conversation or continued the relationship and friendship, it just kind of fizzled from there. So we want to help equip youth leaders through this ebook with ideas like this one on how to actually help your students reach their lost friends. So they're invited to a party. What does that mean? You're invited to a party. What if they say, hey, we want you want to come to this party, whatever, fill in the blank. In the ebook, we go over the actual, what your student could say. If I had this, it would have been awesome. Like, I could have actually I could have actually said something that was worthwhile. So it, what is it? Hey, thanks for thinking of me. I enjoy hanging out with you too, but honestly, I'm just not into the whole party scene. Maybe we can hang out together sometime and do whatever, fill in the blank. So for me, it could have been, you know, like maybe after work the next week, we can just, you know, go swing by, we can grab a movie, we can go play cards at a coffee shop, like something like that, that would help them to know that I care about them and I want the relationship to continue. They invited me to something, I shot it down, but I tried to do it in a way that wasn't totally shooting it down, just saying I'm not really into that party scene kind of thing. So it's hard to actually equip your students with the vernacular to say these kind of things, but that's idea one in the ebook. And there's another way that we can, you know, you can dive into the ebook and you can read the other ideas, but we want to make sure that you know that it's important as you encourage your students to stand firm in their faith, even under pressure at a party, to remind them to focus on Jesus as their role model. That's the most important piece of that, right? Like Christ is your role model. He is demanding holiness and a life that's worthy of following him. You're his ambassador. So as you're talking to your students and you're helping them and coaching them on how to engage in relationships with people that don't know Jesus, they might get invited to parties, and idea number one helps them to know what to say. So at Dare to Share, we actually would go through, in our trainings, we go through even role playing. So I would recommend that you get that book, or the ebook, you look at the ideas, the actual vernacular, maybe you make up a couple others and coach them on that, and then have a student come up on stage and say, and they do this role playing in front of each other. That's what we do at Dare to Share. It's the active, not just leave it here, but have them actually participate in saying it, because you want them to continue the conversation. I might have known as a student, okay, I could say this, but it would have been one step further if I was able to be in that conversation with that lady who invited me to the party and actually be able to respond in a way that was loving and continue the conversation and not be like on my heels trying to figure out how do I reconcile with my faith in that moment, like if I rehearsed it ahead of time. So I'd recommend you do that. That's the biggie. Where are we in this? That's idea number one. So when we're focusing on Jesus as our role model at Lead the Cause, that's the point, is that this ebook is a microcosm of what Lead the Cause really does. It helps to equip students in their day-to-day. So we have a story from a student that went to Chicago last year who just rocked it, quite honestly, and was shaped. So check this out, story from Levi.
Okay guys, sorry, something went wrong with the sound on that video, so we can upload it. It's an awesome video of just this kid named Levi, and I think it was his second year at Lead the Cause, and he's just talking about what he learned and how it has transformed the way that he has now been able to reach out to unbelievers and share the gospel. So we'll share that video with you. Sorry for that technical difficulty. But I just want to also let you know about the cities for next year. I think Sean mentioned them in the beginning, but we have 5 cities for Lead the Cause this next summer, 2019. And so if you are thinking that this would be a really good resource and just a good experience for you and your students, then definitely take a look at this list online on leadthecause.org and just check out which dates work for you and which city would be fun to go to, or whichever one is closest to you, whatever your thought process is on that. But so the list of cities is first is Chicago from June 17th through the 22nd. Then we have Austin, Texas, June 24th through the 29th. Then we'll be in Denver from July 8th through the 13th. Then Orange County, California from July 15th through the 20th. And finally ending in Washington, D.C. from July 29th through August 3rd. So yeah, just take a look at your calendar, and if you're serious about really seeing your students just grow in their faith and in their gospel sharing skills, make LTC a priority. And really, I mean, it's still 2018 right now, so we're far in advance of this next summer, but it's going to come up really quick. So just start making plans and see if you can fit one of these events on your calendar. You will not regret it at all. And then one more thing, if you are really interested, we would love to get you on our insider list so that we can keep you up to date on just different payment deadlines and things like that, and so that you can get the inside scoop on all of just the different things that are happening leading up to Lead the Cause. So if you want to go to the URL, it's on the screen. I think there's a URL on the screen, but it should just be leadthecause.org/infokit, and you can join the insider list. You can join the insider list. Thank you for the energy drink. Kind of
That's the second idea.
Okay, well that's a good segue, I guess. Into the next thing.
We actually got some energy drinks, and I have a whole platform of them. And Amelia on our team was super excited about the Starbucks one and just started downing it before we not to throw her under the bus. It's probably the best one up here. When we got them, we were like, this crazy that people put this stuff in their body, because sometimes it's just like crazy. No offense if you're like a youth leader that does that sort of thing, because it's not really illegal. But energy drinks, that's the second idea in the ebook. And I promise I haven't had any energy drinks today, but I had coffee, so that's why I'm a little loopy. But okay, so the second one in the ebook that we're going over is how do you share your faith at school with energy drinks? If you're a student, you want to know segues, little things, ideas on how you can actually share your faith and connect the gospel to everyday conversations. Energy drinks come up. People are down in those like hotcakes or whatever hotcakes are. They down those things every day at school, and there's easy segues people can make. But really, at the end, when they're drinking an energy drink, what are students hoping to get out of that? They want superpowers, they want boosts of energy, but we can see in Colossians that we proclaim him, admonishing and teaching everyone with all wisdom, so that we may present everyone perfect in Christ. To do this end, I labor, struggling with all his energy, which so powerfully works in me. So energy drinks, they are a boost, a temporary boost. Caffeine, like I'm on right now, is a temporary boost, but it's not the end all, right? Like Christ is really our sustenance and how it helps us to sustain. So how do we help our students connect the dots when it comes to energy drinks? How do they actually share with their friends? So when one of your friends pulls out a Red Bull at lunch, you can start a conversation like this way. You can coach your students to say, hey, I know when I'm tired, I like to drink coffee or Red Bull. I know I do. But sometimes I feel like I need a shot of caffeine for my heart and my mind. Do you ever feel like that? Like you're just mentally and emotionally kind of drained? How do you handle that? One of the things that is really powerful in spiritual conversations is just questions, like actually zeroing in, asking a question that's not crazy hard, not leading too much, but is helping the conversation to continue. So when you ask the question, do you ever feel like that? It's not threatening because you're asking them personally. So you're coaching your students on something as simple as an energy drink. When I want energy, I need an extra shot maybe for my spiritual life or for my emotional life. What do I do? Where do I go? What do you think about that? There's actually some other conversations in the book, so you could pick that up on the insider list for LTC. You can jump and join on that insider list. You'll get the free download of all four of them. So that's the biggie. With number 2, how do you share the gospel with energy drinks? Are you excited? I know I am. We have Megan and Maddie coming up right now, so I'm going to get out of the way.
Okay. So yeah, the whole point with this ebook and with point number 2 of how to bring up the gospel with energy drinks is just to get your students to start asking good questions, just to get their unbelieving friends really thinking about the deeper things in life of like, yeah, what do I actually do when I don't have anything else really to turn to? Shift, awkward. Like for energy, when my soul is tired, what do I turn to? And our students know that the answer is Jesus Christ. So that's a perfect open door for that. So Megan Mashik, the lovely Megan Mashik, she's on the operations team, for Dare to Share. And so she works a lot with planning out the details of LTC, like the outreach events. And so we just wanted to ask her a couple questions about how that makes a lasting impact on students and just sort of the process of what that looks like. So, okay, so why do you think the outreach time at LTC, where kids share the gospel in the real world, is such an impactful experience for them?
Yeah, we love the outreach experience. I think that's one of the big reasons what puts, what is different about Dare to Share than really any other summer camp or week-long missions trip out there. It's one of my favorite things that we get to do all week long. It's so impactful because we have been training them how to share their faith relationally for the first couple of days, and halfway through the week is when we really go, okay, and kind of push them out of the nest. Okay, here we go. Because they are doing it and talking to real people, not that fake people are any different, but they're actually having a one-on-one conversation. They're doing it in groups of people. We send them out in groups of 2 and 3, and there's a youth leader close by in case they get stuck on a question. It's so helpful. It's encouraging to them, and it just pushes them outside of their comfort zone. They come back and they go, I can actually do this. I can do this. And I now know how to do this with my friends. And that is what is so impactful with the outreach experience that we do.
Yeah, and I think it just like shifts their mindset. Like, I can do this, and God's working through me, and I can actually talk to strangers.
And I can talk to a stranger that I meet in the streets of Chicago. I can definitely talk to a friend that's literally right next door to me, and so it just brings that correlation, and it takes that barrier down. It's amazing and astounding and awesome.
Awesome. Do you have any examples of testimonies that you've heard, maybe, of just how LTC has impacted people long term?
Yeah, I just got a text message from a youth leader in Iowa just a couple weeks ago, and he said that one of his students, who they went to the DC event back in July, and he has incorporated prayer into his life. It never was a big thing in his life before Lead the Cause. Because of our intentional focus on prayer and how to incorporate that into his life, he is still praying 4 months from when Lead the Cause was. He is still doing that. He's doing it in his car. They talked about Lead the Cause and prayer and what all of that looks like at youth group just a few weeks ago. And you can just see the lasting impact on just that piece of prayer. We focus on it for a day and a half because prayer is so important. And I think it's a piece that sometimes is missing, especially in everyone's life. I know that sometimes that goes on the wayside, and so we bring it back into focus. And it's just so cool to see that a teenager is really stepping into his prayer life, and that he's still doing it to this day. So it's so cool. I also spoke with a youth leader who in 2017, he was almost going to quit. He was like, I am over it. I don't want to be here anymore. It's just hard. But he had made a promise to God that he would go to Lead the Cause in 2017 with his students. He was like, I will push through, we will go. In 2017, God at that event helped changed his mindset about it all, and they made goals as a youth group, and they started doing those and started to see more and more people. He came back just in 2018, just this past summer again, and he was overwhelmed by gratitude because of the change that God changed his heart, and their youth group has grown. His students know how to share their faith with their friends. He's just seen so many different things that have happened, and it's so cool to be such a small piece of what God is doing for revival across the country.
Oh, so, I love that. That can be such a catalyst for like years and years just better ministry and seeing God move, and that's so cool. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Bye, guys.
All right, so now we're going to hear from a youth leader directly. His name is Keith Byler, and he has come to LTC a couple of times and has just seen the most incredible transformations in his students and in his ministry since going to Lead the Cause. So check out his story here.
LTC is like nothing else I've been to. It is, I don't know of any other conference that's even come close to helping my students get on board with the Great Commission, share the gospel, and really understand like how to articulate the gospel well enough to have a conversation with someone about what the gospel says and what Jesus has done for them. Then LTC, it's been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. We talk about sharing the gospel a lot at youth group, and we try to motivate them, but there's something about taking a week and we're just saying we're just gonna like go deep we're going to really understand how to do that. That light bulbs just keep coming on for a ton of students. And I think every single one of our students has been sharing the gospel, at least with somebody, or at least trying to. So it's like 100% success rate with students grasping how to share the gospel and then having the desire and the motivation to do it. And so it's pretty awesome. I would say you need to talk to youth that have come and ask them, are they sharing the gospel? And were they before LTC, and are they after now LTC is over? And when you see the numbers of how many students come to LTC currently, maybe having never a conversation or just a few conversations, to how many of them are now living on mission and sharing the gospel. I mean, I think that right there speaks for itself. Like, well, I mean, you to invest in something to have our students actually living out the Great Commission, like, I mean, that's the church's job. Like, you should be really excited. If you're on the leadership team of your church, you should be really excited about your teenagers sharing Jesus. And find me another conference that has the same result of students not sharing the gospel, going to a week of conference, leaving, and they're on mission and mobilized with the gospel, and they're sharing it, and not just sharing, they're excited about sharing it, and they're doing a good job of sharing it. Find me another conference like that, and maybe we can talk about where the money should go. But up until now, LTC is the only place I've found that has that kind of results, and so to me it's a no-brainer where the money should go. The LTC is definitely worth investing in.
So that was Keith Byler. He is a Rockstar youth leader in the Chicagoland area, and he didn't share that in the story, but when we were doing that video, he was talking about how his church has actually seen his youth ministry thrive in the organic way that, like, I think Jesus intended churches to thrive, and now they're actually bringing some of that training into their bigger church. So kind of one of those ways that we're just like, crazy, God, this is so awesome to be used by you to help people like Keith do what you've called them to, and they're super encouraged by it, and then they can go and share with their church and see it roll out on a bigger scale. So it's just awesome to come alongside youth leaders. So we are going through this ebook, the 4 Everyday Ideas to Help Your Students Lead the Cause at School. And we're on idea number 3. So earlier we had a video with Levi in it as well, and it kind of glitched. So we're putting the link for that in the comments to the blog post that has that in there. So it's in there now. So you can always watch that video if you'd like later. But we're on number 3 in this ebook, and this ebook is all about how do you come alongside your students and help them lead the cause at school. And lead the cause meaning how do they share their faith, how do they relationally build gospel conversations with people that are on their soccer teams or wherever they're at. And we know that this happens when when your friends view Christianity negatively. When someone views Christianity negatively, how do you respond? It's kind of difficult. As adults, I have a hard time sometimes. I was just at a family gathering, and I had a person at the family gathering that said they thought that it was kind of weird that the church had done some evil things in the past, and how do you respond to that? So sometimes it's hard to answer that question, and you might not know the exact details on how to answer that question, and your students probably don't know if you don't know. So you can't anticipate everything, but this section of the ebook talks about how just 16% of non-Christians, 16% of non-Christians in their late teens and 20s said they have a good impression of Christianity. So that's 16. That means there's 84, if I do math right. Math is hard. Hashtag math is hard. 84% though, that's it, that actually don't have a good impression of Christianity, of teens in their late teens and 20s. That's a Barna research study. So that's in this ebook, and it talks about that. So how do you respond? How does a student respond when like we see in that research study, that someone might have a negative view? So they might have the comment made to them that says they don't like the church or something. Well, we don't want your students to start there. We coach you to actually take one more step back. And what's the first step for your students? They need to look at their own life and ask themselves some hard questions on how they can engage their friends. So that's in the ebook. We want them to do a character check, is what we talk about. Have your students do a character check first, and that's you can roll that out in a small group or in a like a reflective time after a lesson where you're talking about heart or how God wants you to view people. We have an exercise at Dare to Share, like how do you view people with Jesus' eyes? We roll that out at Lead the Cause, like how can you sit and you can see people the same way that Jesus sees people. But before you do that, And you can really see them that way. You might want to ask yourself some questions. So there's 3 questions in this ebook that we suggest that you do in that small group setting. 1, do you use your faith as an excuse to be judgmental? So maybe you had a lesson and you just have your students sitting there, or the small group afterwards is talking through it. And you just ask them that, meditate on that for a couple minutes. Ask God to really work in that space. Do you use your faith as an excuse to be judgmental? Can we expect non-believers to live by Christian morals and standards? Can we actually expect that? Like, what does that mean? I mean, I'm sure you've talked about that in your youth ministries, but asking the students to really think about that. Do they have expectations that non-believers actually live by Christian standards? And that, because that might lend to how they view them. And then the third one, are you genuine? Are we hypocritical? Are we genuine in our faith? Do we actually reflect what's going on in our life to our friends, not just Instagram and Facebook put on the best things that happen in your life and leave out the details of the grit and the grind and how God actually helps you in that space. So that's the first part, is have a character check with your students so they can actually have decent conversations with their friends or someone who might view Christianity negatively. So if someone says, I think church is dumb, I don't believe in God, the Bible's an old-fashioned fantasy book, something like that. My friend, he said, he was talking about the Crusades and how Christianity was, basically murdered people, and that's legitimate. That's a legitimate thing. And how do we respond to that? Well, first of all, we got to respond in love and grace. Let alone open your mouth at all. Maybe it's just hold your tongue. Like, where are you in prayer about that? This ebook goes into more details on how you can do that a little bit. Wanted to let you know, if you want the whole ebook, you can go on the insider list for Lead the Cause. That's why we're here. We're talking about the long-standing impact that Lead the Cause has in your youth ministry. That number 3 in the ebook was, how do you help your friends who might have a negative impression on Christianity? We'll go over the 4th one in a bit. But you can get that whole ebook by signing up for the insider list. We'll just give it to you for free, and then you can read it later. You can check out that Barna study, whatever. But there is a part in that ebook where you might want to engage your friends in that third thing. You might encourage them to pull out this Life in 6 Words video. Dare to Share produced it a couple years back. It is still awesome. Here's a little glimpse into the first part of that video.
It's the full story of life crushed into 4 minutes. The entirety of humanity in the palm of your hand, crushed into one sentence. Listen, it's intense, right? God, our sins, paying everyone life. The greatest story ever told that's hardly ever told. God. Yes, God, the maker and giver of life. And by life, I mean any and all manner and substance, seen and unseen, what can and can be touched, thoughts, image, emotions, love, atoms, and oceans. God. All of it is handiwork, one of which is masterpiece.
Okay, so the Life in 6 Words video, it's an incredible video that just walks through the whole gospel story, and that's the gospel acrostic that we use to teach teenagers at both Lead the Cause and Dare to Share Live, and just in our other curriculum, of how to really articulate the gospel in a clear, simple way, and it's easy to remember because it spells gospel. So, if you want to look at that whole video, you can go to daretoshare.org. It's somewhere on there. We can maybe get the URL for you, or it's on our YouTube page as well. So with Lead the Cause, the theme for this next year is follow, and it's based on Matthew 4:19, where Jesus is calling his first disciples. They're on the boat, they're fishermen, and he's telling them, come follow me and I'll make you fishers of men. So this whole theme of what it looks like to actually genuinely follow Jesus, to give our whole lives to him and to obey his command, especially the Great Commission. So here's follow theme. It's pretty cool. Our graphic designer back here, she rocked it. So I want to show you a quick video of just what follow is going to look like. Here's a sneak peek.
I know this is going to sound cliche, but it is life-changing.
Okay, I think that Lead the Cause 2019 is going to be amazing and super impactful for the students and the leaders who come, just learning how to better follow Jesus and be disciples who make disciples. That's what it's all about. So we have a brand new staff person. She just started literally this week. Her name is Carrie Evans, but she has been a youth pastor in the Denver area for quite a while, and she has seen some incredible transformation in her youth group in the last couple of years because she took the plunge and went to Lead the Cause and just saw her ministry completely transformed and saw her students turning into really passionate disciple makers. And so we interviewed her yesterday, and so we're just going to show you her story of what Lead the Cause did for her as a youth pastor.
Hi, my name is Carrie Evans, and I just started working here at Dare to Share a couple days ago. I was a youth pastor for over 12 years and had just an amazing time at Lead the Cause, and just wanted to take a minute to share our story with you and the lasting impact that it had on our youth group. You know, we were at a place, to be honest, where we were really struggling with some things. It felt really disappointing when we would take our students to events and retreats and even mission trips, and to see them get so passionate and fired up about everything, but then to see it so quickly fade away, and to see our students get really distracted by things of the world and just overwhelmed by their stress and everything. And it was really just a struggle for us as youth leaders to figure out how to kind of change things around long term and to really, get sustained vision kind of really into the heart of the youth group. And so, to be honest, it was kind of a last-ditch effort to go to Lead the Cause with our students, and we just kind of said, well, let's just give this a try and see what happens. And God showed up in really, really incredible ways. It has been amazing to see, even starting that week of LTC, our students just really coming alive in what they were learning and how to share their faith, but also just owning their faith a little deeper for themselves and getting passionate about discipling others and how to share their faith, and really getting passionate about sharing the message of the gospel with their friends at school, on their teams, all kinds of different areas, and to really become co-laborers with us leaders in creating that bold vision. They really were just excited to be kind of a part of that planning process for the entire year for our youth ministry, and to kind of think through, like, how could we creatively get other students on board with this when we went back to the youth group. And they were just so excited to be a part of it. And we went back and kind of hit the ground running, put up a scoreboard, kind of a way for us to measure our bold vision goals, and got the other students involved. The students that had gone to LTC immediately went and started sharing with the other students what they had learned and how they could get involved too. And it was just really exciting, and it amazingly really lasted all throughout the entire year. And I think it was incredible to see the lasting impact that Lead the Cause had truly on our group. It wasn't just a click in the wind. It wasn't just a moment in time. It was something that lasted, and our students were excited to be a part of it. Every single week we would have set aside a time for something we called Pause for the Cause, where they would share stories of what was happening when they were sharing their faith and what was happening in their own journey with God. And it was just amazing to hear what God was doing, and the energy that was created in the room by how they were sharing that. And so long term, it really created a culture shift within our group, and set the expectation that, hey, if you're a part of our youth group, this is what we do. And this is a part of something that you can get involved with too. And so as our middle schoolers started coming into the group, they just were going, wait, how do I share my faith? What is this about? And the high schoolers were really excited to get together with them in this program we created called Discipleship Pairs, and kind of help them understand how to share their faith and how to pray for their friends who don't know Christ, and to really kind of just get them on board really quickly. Created a lot of extra excitement in the room. And so it just became a cultural thing for us, which was such a cool lasting impact that we had. It really focused us with that scoreboard idea we had with the bold vision. It really just changed everything about who we are and what we did in such a powerful, powerful way. And we just really were able to see God move in our students in so many different ways, and their level of just excitement for God himself and for sharing with their friends, but also just, the whole room was abuzz many, many times. And of course, there's always some things that were a struggle, but overall, they just loved being a part of this movement, really. And so just want to encourage you to really, really consider going to Lead the Cause. It is so worth every headache, every fundraiser, everything that you have to do to prepare for an event like this, it is so worth it because it will reignite your passion for the gospel, your passion as a leader for sharing your faith, but also will get your students involved, which is just so encouraging to you as a leader to see them in a long-term way be excited about sharing the faith. So thanks so much for letting me share my story with you today, and I sure hope to see you this year at Lead the Cause.
Hey, so that was Carrie. She is like weird, right? She was standing right here, and then I was standing right here in like a moment. That was odd, right, for you watching? So yesterday, she was right here, and she told her story. Carrie is an awesome staff person, and I'm glad that she was able to kind of unpack that for you. She is not weird. The video transition was weird. Stop it, people. Come on. Okay, so I would encourage you to reach out to Carrie if you want to hear more from her and get encouragement from her. She's awesome, and we're here to serve you as youth leaders. So right now, because you're on the front lines and just hearing Carrie's story, let me just pray for youth leaders. Can you just, we're passionate about helping youth leaders and networking together, and we're partners with National Network of Youth Ministries. Like we really desire to see the youth ministries across America become gospel advancing. That's Dare to Share's heart. So I'm going to pray real quick. So join me. Father, thank you for Carrie. Thank you for any youth leader who's watching this. God, we just, we know that you value them deeply, and we want to praise you for their devotion to you. We pray that you'll encourage them where they are right now. The grind right now, this time of year, is not easy. And we pray that you will just encourage them, help them to have grit and tenacity, and to seek their strength from you alone, and be filled. And God, we pray that their youth ministries may thrive in this season. Amen. Okay, so this live video has been all about Lead the Cause, how it can help your students long-term experience long-term growth, your youth ministry experience long-term growth. So you can consider summer of next year going to one of the 5 Lead the Cause events. We have been going through the ebook. That's if you jump on the insider list for Lead the Cause, you get this ebook for free. 4 everyday ideas to help your students lead the cause at their school. And we've been unpacking that. So the first idea was when someone invites you to go to a party. The second one was all about energy drinks. So we have some up here. I don't know if we're going to have these as staff later. They're not good for you. But anyway, the third one is when your friends view Christianity negatively, how do you help a student to actually respond to them? The fourth one we talk about right now is when someone just says, my life stinks. Like, we have, your students and you have friends that just experience life just like you experience life. Well, for us as Christ followers, we know that Jesus helps us to process that, helps us to have hope and joy in the midst of that. And through the trial, know that he's working. It doesn't mean the trial is easier. It just means that we know that he's with us. So how do we help somebody who doesn't know Jesus and doesn't have a faith? How do they, when they say, man, my life just stinks, or they're experiencing something serious, like the ebook goes over some scenarios where, students are dramatic and sometimes their life stinks for things that you're like, really, that stinks? Like if your Red Bull spilled, that's the suckiest part of your day. Well, for them it might be, but they might have a parent that had some serious diagnosis, or a friend who, got hurt, or maybe they can't make the varsity squad that they've been dreaming about for years. So their life might actually stink, and you got to meet them in that spot. So how do you coach a student to have that conversation? What do you say to them? There's that saying that people don't know how much you know, or they don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. So when someone says, my life sucks, I didn't make the varsity squad, whatever, just care about them. That's the idea in this book, is how do you coach your students to just care for their friends? Like, it's not that hard, but we need practice and we need some coaching to do it. So how can you respond? Say something like, hey, I'm sorry that you're having a rough day. Is there anything I can do to help make it better today? That hard question, is there anything I can do to make it better today? Is there anything that I can do to meet you in that spot, to love you despite how you're feeling, and the relationship is more important than whatever awkwardness might be created by you just trying to care about them. So how do you do that? How do you help a student? Like I said before on one of the other ideas, is like we actually do role playing with Lead the Cause, and with a lot of Dare to Share stuff that we do. And we invite you, unpack that, even have your students, how do you answer that question? Like, oh, or how do you answer that statement from a friend? And have them come up and they role play in front and go, you know, you pretend like you just didn't make the soccer squad and you are the friend. How do you care for them in that situation? And just have them model it and then role play together. I mean, it seems really trite and trivial, but those little things are what helps us to actually engage. If all that we do is stare at our phones, which is like most of our students, right? We don't know how to engage in a verbal face-to-face conversation sometimes. Well, train them, help them do that. That's what the ebook kind of covers. So there's some more in there. What's another response you can have? Man, I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I'm here for you. I'm going to be praying for you. I truly believe that God loves you and wants to be here for you right now. And I'd love to talk with you about him if you ever want to. For now, is there anything I can do for you? So you're taking a hard situation, you're caring about them, but then you're bringing up your faith in a way that's constructive. They're not going to be weirded out by that comment. Like, they know that you love them because you're friends with them. So how can you help your students actually unpack a simple statement like that? Are we good at that as leaders and as adults? Sometimes not. So how can we be prayerful in that? So you can see more about what the ebook says by going on that insider list and picking up the whole thing, right? Like we're here to serve you as a youth leader, so you can get that ebook. But really, at the end of the day, whether they let on or not, every student who does not know Jesus is struggling to find their identity, their purpose, and their peace in this crazy, nutso world we're in. Students in your youth group know where to find those things, though. And it's all in relationship with Christ, right? So the ebook unpacks those things. Lead the Cause is all about helping them with developing relationships and coaching them through that. So those are the four everyday ideas. You can get the full ebook. Last little bit here, we're closing out. So if you want a friend to view this, we've had 7 or 10 people that have actually mentioned somebody. Some of you twice have mentioned somebody else. You are on deck to win the $250 of Youth Group to Go curriculum. We have 49 sessions of Youth Group to Go that can stand alone each week, be their own thing. And we're giving away all 49 of them to somebody who comments and invites somebody to watch this video. So do that right now. And for the next 3 minutes, think about who do you know as a youth leader who would find value in just seeing this video and potentially in going to lead the cause next year. Anybody in youth ministry, just tag them in that thing, and then you're entered to win that $250. You tag more than one, well, congratulations, you got more than one entry. So we'll let you know in a couple minutes here who that winner is. So you got the last little bit. Maddie was going to talk about the info kit for Lead the Cause. So come on up, Maddie.
Okay, so the info kit for Lead the Cause is the best and easiest way for you to really get the information that you need here on this front end of Lead the Cause. So what comes inside of it is a poster just like this one. So this is something that you can hang up in your youth room or in your office just to get it on people's radars that this is something that we're interested in and that we are looking forward to going to next summer. So that comes in the info kit. You'll also get a flyer with this similar design, a sample flyer, and then you can order a lot more flyers as well in our promo kit to hand out to students and parents and all those kind of people. The info kit also gets a sample letter to parents. So this is a letter that you as a leader can send to your students' parents and say, hey, this is a really awesome opportunity that we want to bring your student to because we see this potential in them. We see that they're passionate about their faith, and we want to help foster that and really cultivate a passion for sharing the gospel in your son or daughter. So that's in there. You'll also get fundraising tips. So money can be a really big obstacle with any kind of mission trip, but with Lead the Cause, sometimes that's the thing that comes up for people who are interested but just can't make it. And so we're going to try to equip you and help you as much as we can just with some fundraising tips of easy ideas of how to just help your students raise the funds to get to Lead the Cause. And then finally, the last thing that's in the info kit is a registration guide. So this has a couple of steps in it that just walk through the process of how to register and what you as a youth leader need to do, the forms that you need to download, or just where on our website you need to go to be able to say this is how many people I'm potentially wanting to bring, this is where we're from and which city we want to go to, just stuff like that that's really going to get the ball rolling and make it much less work for you in the future, whereas, you know, if you waited a couple months until the event, then it might be a lot more work. So go to leadthecause.org/infokit and please get this awesome resource. It's free, and we just want to give you all the information that you need to make this happen for your group. We want it to be as easy as possible because we want to see your group be impacted by an experience at Lead the Cause. So we're going to be announcing the winner of the Youth Group to Go bundle pretty soon.
I got that winner. I'm excited. Okay, and I will drink this on your behalf. So I don't even want to drink it, but I'm going to drink it. So Ryan Schultz, dude, you're the guy. Woohoo! Thanks for tagging people, at mentioning them. We will direct message you after this. Let you know, bud, you won $250 worth of the Youth Group to Go's. You can use them all yourself. You can share them with youth leaders. That's totally up to you. So that will be a full stinking year of curriculum. Before we forget, Super Early Bird tickets have been on sale for the last week or so. We finally got it on the website Friday or Saturday last week of the Thanksgiving holiday. And we've already sold out of Denver Super Early Bird. Austin Super Early Bird is almost gone. And so you can still get Early Bird for those, but you can't get the Super Early Bird. I think Super Early Bird is $425 instead of $515 or $535. Saves you $110 at the end of the day. If you get your Super Early Bird now, instead of getting it when it's full price, you can save $110. So that would be a major win. If you know that you're going to go as a leader and you don't know how many students are going to go get your Super Early Bird ticket just now and just get it done so that you don't have to worry about paying more later for it. We only have a certain amount though for each city, so that's why Denver's sold out and Austin is almost sold out. Anyway, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for being youth leaders, guys. We love you. We're excited about all that God is doing in your lives. And we're just encouraged by you. So let me close us out in a little quick prayer, and we'll be on our day. God, thank you for youth leaders. Thank you for their lives and their tenacity, and thank you that they love you so much. We pray that you will just encourage them where they're at and help them to have a good rest of the day. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Have a great day.